Before I start this impression of Map of Materials, I'd like to mention that the developer, Raynon30, gave us a code for the game for an honest impression. We'd like to thank the developers kindly for the gesture, and without further ado, here are my thoughts.
No other choice.
From the Steam description, Map of Materials is a short old-school RPG with some survival and crafting elements. The game has a simple open story. It's my first game, and I developed it in my spare time. I hope you enjoy this little adventure.
And he doesn't even know how trapped he is.
After playing about 2.5 hours, there's still a lot of game to explore, and at first I wasn't too enamored with what I was playing, but it definitely grew on me after a certain point. So after crash landing on a beach, you have to survive and do survival things like chopping trees for wood, collecting plants, killing animals for food, mining ore, and getting better equipment with what you've gathered to make yourself stronger. In the process, you level up too, choosing to go strength, agility, or a bit of both. I just went with full-on strength with an eventual sword you receive because the enemies tend to make a beeline toward you, and while I like the bow, the game kind of made me feel like I had to get up close and personal most of the time. Except for those poison scorpions, unless you have a lot of consumables for curing said poison. Initially, the game felt a bit tough because I felt so weak trying to fight off a crab, your first enemy, and the subsequent boar afterward. I didn't even know where I was supposed to get a weapon as I was picking up coconuts. Eventually I found a chest next to a rock, and it gave me a starter pack of goods including an axe, bow, potions, and some materials. I wish the chest was a bit easier to see because I was running around for a few minutes and I couldn't tell if it was a broken box or just debris. It also happens with smaller objects in the world like arrows. Overall, it's relatively easy to see files, potions, notes, and ore veins, but I still feel like I could miss something that I might need, so I tend to scour the area at least 3 times. Once I reached the hut past the beach through the forest, it was a relief to see shelter, but it was short-lived because the hut was locked, and I needed a key to enter. Thankfully, there was a note left by the owner, and we were given directions on where we could find said owner. Now, this is where the game feels old school, as the note says to continue left from the hut to the gorge. There aren't any markers, so you have to explore and make your own way. So I took a left, but not the left I needed to go. I went through a snowy area and ran past 2 rock golems. The snow area is probably a high level area, so I decided to run back only to get one shot by one of the golems 3 times. From here, I reloaded a past save. Eventually, I got to the gorge, the owner was dead, and I found a plan to build a catapult. That's right, the dead person, when they were alive, in order to escape, wanted to build a catapult to fling themselves over the gorge into the water on the other side. So now that becomes our plan for escape. But of course, in order to build it, we have to explore the land and find the materials. I like how the maps are big but not too big, so you can remember the layout of each area and the landmarks that populate them. I remember coming upon these ruins in an area where orange and yellow leaves litter the ground, then crossing a somewhat broken bridge where goblins were on the other side. I had my sword at the ready, swinging and doing damage, but realized they were kicking my butt. I chugged a few health potions and got through it. Killed a few more after dying once, and found a ruined house where I found some armor. It's around this point where I felt the game start to click. I was leveling up, started mining, added more strength on level up, I got my sword, improved it, and got armor to mitigate incoming damage. And because of this, I could take out stronger animals like the big boars and big crabs to get myself a constant source of food. Eventually the animals do respawn, which is good, but you still do have to ration your consumables. I like the flow of the game, even though we've played games designed this way before. You get your axe, sword, pickaxe, and lantern, and now you can chop down trees, kill enemies faster, mine for ore, and see in the dark, respectively. Each new area gives you something new, so there's a push there to seek out and find the next tool you'll receive. I'm at the point now where I've gathered all the oak wood I need for the catapult. The next step is to grab some palm fibers, and I think they might be located in the desert area, of which I've lightly explored and eventually ran away from because of giant scorpions. I honestly didn't think the game would hook me, but it's ended up being a pleasant surprise, and I feel like a lot of folks would enjoy this if the game was seen by more people. Now for some random musings I've had while playing. I like that I get XP for picking up plants and mining ore. Even though we're so used to gathering items for use later, it's nice to get that rewarding feeling, knowing every little bit helps in leveling you up. I like that I did get lost and go to a higher level area just by exploring. Definitely got punished for it though. I like that I can place a campfire seemingly anywhere, making it feel like my own makeshift bonfire from Dark Souls. And they never seem to go out either. If you think something might be there, go see for yourself. You might get rewarded with an ore vein or even a chest. The jumping animation reminds me of the one from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I wish you can jump a tad higher, but climbing does feel doable with the way some of the rocks are positioned. While it's cool exploring and finding things, I always find it to be a contrast with the depleting water and food bars. You can only explore so much before you have to go out there and get more food again to stockpile. Sometimes it feels like a waste of 1 or 2 fried meats if I don't find something. Then again, that's what the save system is for. Going down to the prison was cool. I saw a blue glowy crystal object and all of a sudden a voice rang out. I barely saw what it was, but I knew I had to run away because it started to give chase. Even with the lantern it was dark and foggy, but I eventually escaped. That part was pretty fun. And the music. The music is really good. It reminded me a bit of The Witcher 3's soundtrack. And that's it. Thanks so much again to the developer, Rainon30, for giving us the code to try out the game. I hope this honest impression of the first 2.5 hours of Map of Materials helped you, and I also hope this helps get the game out to any gamers out there looking for something new to play. If you give it a chance, I think you will be pleasantly surprised. That'll be it for this impression of Map of Materials, so if you all made it this far, thanks for watching, and as always, take care, and Tengu230 out. Alright y'all, get on everybody, and please, keep smiling.